Ambitious and motivated are words that describe you best. Then you're on the right place. This is Motivational Radio Friends from Paris with your host, Lonji Agoha.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our New Year resolution talk. And in it today, I am privileged to be talking to Dr. Chuks Isiekwena, who is going to speak to us about his New Year resolutions, what he thinks about New Year resolutions, and his ideas. He's going to be a proponent of maybe why people should not keep New Year resolutions. Hello, Dr. Isiekwena.
Hello, good evening, sir.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, could you introduce yourself, please, to our listeners?
Yes, I am Chuks Isiekwena. I live in Paris and work in Paris.
So, could you tell us exactly what your job is?
So I'm a registrar cardiologist at the PTA Secretary Hospital in Paris. I'm a specialist sports cardiologist at the same hospital.
Okay, very good. So tell us your idea or what you think of New Year resolutions. Are you for or against?
Thank you very much. I think we start every new year with this feeling of a clean slate, and it's a time that we can set up our goals and intentions and actually make the changes that we want in our life, and then get rid of those nagging bad habits and usher in some good ones. But by February, many of our resolutions are already abandoned or they are forgotten. When we go through this, or when we see this situation, we begin to ask, what is the idea, what is the goal of having a resolution in the first place? So my problem is 99.9%, if I'm not exaggerating, keeping up to their resolutions, and by February they've already abandoned their resolutions. However, the problem is this, that most of our resolutions, before we're making a resolution, underlying problems or underlying situations that make us actually abandon or that we ignore in our inner self. So once we're not able to address this situation, there's absolutely no way that we can meet up the resolution. This is one of the reasons I'm actually, or it's a major reason itself, that I am against any New Year resolution.
Okay, so the fact that people do not keep to New Year resolutions, that's why you're against it formally, isn't it?
Yes, like I said, more than 90% to 99%, if I'm not exaggerating on that 99%, do not keep up to it. And it's not a voluntary action by them, but it's something that comes in that way. And you can, because of certain situations within themselves that are not completely being addressed by this. I mean, we may simply be going about the business of creating resolutions in entirely the wrong way. We are actually focusing on broad goals, hopes, rather than creating a roadmap for the formation of good habits. So it's very difficult to underestimate the significance of habits in driving our actions and behavior. And they are what determines whether our resolutions are kept or crumbled up or thrown into the trash. So the situation is that before we create any kind of resolution, we need to address the psychology of habits. This is where our situation is. This is where our problem lies. So I don't really support the idea of creating a resolution without getting back to what's actually our habits and how can we curtail or how can we address those habits that make our resolutions fail by February.
Okay. Okay, if I understand you well, you're saying that because of our habits, it looks like you're looking at it from the medical standpoint. That is where you're directing your actions. It's a question of on the medical field. If you are not a medical doctor, would you have been saying these things?
No, I am looking at it from a more scientific viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we face. That we do. I mean, if we just take some examples or in how habits come into play when we make resolutions, you will see that it plays a major factor in it. Someone that wants to smoke cigarettes or that wants to stop smoking cigarettes, will say, I mean, the smoking of cigarettes itself is an addict. In trying to stop, you cannot wake up on the 31st of December and say, from the 1st of January, I will stop smoking cigarettes. But you need to address the habit. Now, with that resolution that you make, help him to address the habit. Another example is this. You have a very fat woman or a fat man wants to lose weight. And he says, well, from the 1st of January, I will stop overeating myself, overfeeding myself, and then this person has created a habit of overfeeding himself or herself, thus making it extremely difficult for this person to try and kick against the situation. But there are many ways, there are steps in order to, it's very reliable, there are very good steps, that one can take in place into one's life, and then try to make these resolutions make them into reality by first of all addressing these habits. We need to address those major habits. If we have time, I can talk about them in details on what are some of the ways that I believe.
Okay, now if I understand you, that you are really hammering on the fact that we need to kick our habits first before we begin to set New Year resolutions, isn't it? And then this comes to also, that means knowing yourself first, and knowing what habits you have, and knowing what to drop and what to keep, okay, before you start New Year resolutions. That's where you're going to, I guess.
Yes, it is that, and it is not. Because when we know our habits, when we know that we have a certain habit, this is my habit to smoke. Now, I can't wake up tomorrow and say, I can wake up tomorrow and say, I want to stop, I want to quit smoking cigarettes. Now, I know I have two walls I need to face. One is to kick that habit, to fight against the habit of smoking. That is the first battle I need to do. I need to fight against. The second one will be actually keeping on my resolution and sticking up with my resolution. Now, how do I connect these two factors together? How do I do it? That is where the underlying situation lies. It's so easy to say, I'm waking up on the 1st of January, I'm making a resolution. I am going to stop this. I will do this. I will stop smoking. It doesn't work when you have not actually tackled the underlying habit in itself. There are ways that I know scientifically to do it. First of all, to actually work on those habits itself. When you are making a resolution, you have to make it into an action and not a goal. It doesn't have to be a goal that this is my resolution has got to be a goal. No, it has to be an action. When people, when they make resolutions, they design it very wrongly and incorrectly, and very often they write it out as a list of goals rather than writing it out as a list of action that they are going to take, and think hard about how to structure those behaviors so that they can become habits.
Okay.
So someone will write a resolution that says, I want to exercise more, or I want to lose about 15 kilos, which is great, but that is a great goal to have. But every person, all the studies that have been done tells us that if you post things in an abstract, related term, it's much more less likely that you will accomplish it than if you structure it in an actual activity. So if for example, we've written a list of goals, for example, and we try restructuring them in terms of a more realistic, actionable item. And say, for example, I want to eat one dessert per week. I want to install or I want to stop smoking my cigarette, maybe reduce it from 10 sticks to about 5 sticks, You have to, once you have this into an activity, once you turn this particular goal that you have into an activity, you break it into a component action. Put an activity attached to it. I want to lose weight, for example. Say I want to lose weight now, like I said, I will put an activity, I will attach it with an activity that will make it so interesting. And what will I do? I want to buy a new running shoe. I will go for jogging around the neighborhood from Monday to Friday by 6 a.m., and I will put all of them, I will break down that into to achieve achievable objectives or activities that will make it so interesting for me. Still relating to that habit. Yes, go on.
Okay, I understand exactly what you're saying. In fact, you're saying that the way we set our goals, the way we set our New Year resolutions first is wrong because we just see it as a chunk, as a big thing. I want to do this, but we don't break it down and say, what would I do on a daily basis to come to that result?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we see it as a goal. This is my goal. This is what I want to achieve by by the first of February, this is what I want to. You cannot set it up as a goal. You have to set it up as an action, an activity that you enjoy, that your mental head, your body would like to enjoy. Your body will see it as a fun in itself. Because if your body doesn't see it as a fun, if it's not impaired with your mental framework, then forget it. It is not. You're pushing yourself by setting out a goal to it. When you set up a goal and say, I want to achieve this and this and this and this, obviously, we are human beings. Circumstances could make us to fail along the line. We need to enjoy whatever we are doing. And the way we can enjoy most of our, which obviously, like I'm still saying, is based on the habit, kicking that habit. Is designing them into an action, designing them into something that we involve our bodies, that we involve our minds, that we involve. This is a very, very goal-related situation. Instead of working in a complete abstract situation, and that's one very, very important factor that I think that makes a resolution very, very unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is this. When we make a resolution, like I've been talking about the effect of habits in itself. Every resolution that we have, we know, has about 3 components attached to it. I mean, the habit that is related to the resolution, that's 3 components attached to it. Whenever there is a cue which triggers that habit to start and make your brain to go into autopilot mode, then that behavior itself, a reward, which is how the brain learns to remember and crave this pattern. So what we need to do is so so for example your resolution is to lose weight and the activity you've decided on is to exercise twice a day, you need to create a cue and reward to get that action to become habitual. A cue, for example, can be a time of the day. For example, now when you get up, for example, you're still exercising, you get up to go to the gym at 6:30 a.m. Before heading to work, also there's a reminder, which is your gym bag is sitting next to your door. So when you're actually going out for a run, you need to trick your brain into liking the activity by offering it a kind of a reward. So you have to give yourself a reward. That is actually at any time, which will become an inspiration, to you, and it will create a craving to your brain, and help your brain to associate this particular behavior with something it enjoys. And these are the fundamental issues that people don't really follow up in the resolutions come to pass. And that's why, to me, resolutions are very, very unrealistic.
Okay.
Because of the powerful effect of habit.
Okay, that's it. So I think on a scientific base, you have been able to convince people that yes, it cannot work because of the fact that a bit of imperfection in us that makes us not able to keep to all these resolutions because of the fact that we don't really know how to keep this habit. We don't know how to organize life to get the results we want to get. And because of those imperfections, we are likely not to get the results that we are expecting. So there's no need of trying.
An imperfection is because I would still use the word habit, because an habit in itself can be very relative in the sense that what is an habit to me might be good to me and bad to you, and might be bad to you and bad to Mr. X, Y, or Z. This is how it is. But first of all, for us to make a resolution and stick to our resolution, we need to address those habits that could be obstacles in resolution. We need to do that. Now, a major factor that makes our resolution fail exactly is that we fail to anticipate the obstacles that will inevitably get in the way of our action. So if we are planning to go out running, for example, in the morning, and you know that it will be cold the next morning, make sure the night before you set up a pair of gloves and an extra warm jacket for yourself so that you will be able to be prepared and know that when it's very cold, you're going to stick to your resolution anyway. But if you fail to give it any thought, there is a good chance that when 7 a.m. rolls around, you won't want to leave the comfort of your bed. So people fail to anticipate what the obstacles are going to be. So in the heat of the moment, when you encounter that obstacle, is kind of devastating, and it throws you away, throws you off your stride. So by anticipating obstacles ahead of time, this can help us to get on track. So the situation here is that habit can be a form of obstacle in meeting up. So we have to follow it one step at the other, and put in things in place, anticipate things in place, so that can be used in fighting those obstacles.
You are listening to Motivational Radio France with your host, Longi Agaham in Paris.